Okay. All right, so we're back with the Future EX Part 3, back with Kathleen. And Kathleen, now we're going to talk a little bit about leveling up. So what are the challenges, the biggest challenges that you think that employee experience leaders are likely to encounter in their careers? If you look back at your own path, what do you think are some of the big challenges that, especially in the employee experience space?
Okay, so if I look back and I look now, it's definitely disruptions. Like I mentioned, it could be global, like the pandemics. It could be technology, your 4IR, where we are lacking, although that's also debatable because we also need to look at our landscape and contextualize it. We like to compare ourselves to first world countries and highly developed countries, but we also need to take it in bite sizes to eventually get there. Although if you look at countries like Kenya and Rwanda, they seem to be, up ahead. I think it is Rwanda that is developing the most apps in the world. There's a lot that we need to learn from our neighbors, and then I think disruptions in organizational behavior, or in the way organizations have been running. So like I touched on remote working, and that Google and Apple, those have mastered remote working, and Amazon can work wherever in the world, and they're still able to retain their employees. They're still able to create happy working environments. So it's basically those disruptions. And then number 2 for me, employee wellness. Not everyone looks after their employees or have programs, where it's actually a formal structured program. We need to get that right. We really need to get that right. And then number 3, I mentioned the new order of working, which is remote working. However, when we look at Adrian Gore's case, he wants all his staff back. So we need to find a balance. I think it boils down to our South African culture of Ubuntu. We're so used to working with each other and being there for each other that this disruption it's just not working. So we need to find a balance. And then for me, the last one, number 4, is talent retention. I know I'm just wellness, but when I look at because I'm a succession planning candidate for group HR, I worry about retaining our talent.
Of course.
I had an interesting conversation which actually just made me aware of depending where you're sitting, how you look at things. So our group CEO had a thank you dinner last week over 3 days, because we have 3 divisions in our organization. So we had it over 3 days, and I was in the first divisional thank you dinner, and I was fortunate to share a table with our chairman, Mr. Nelson Wali, and so I brought up, I'm really concerned about how we're not able to retain talent. And he says, well, Kathleen, we invest in talent, and it's not always to retain them. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense. He says, no. Remember, we are not just looking at it from a fidelity services group point of view. We are investing, we are developing.
I love that,
So, and if they leave, then it's created an opportunity for somebody else. And when they leave,
I love that.
I was like, what? So in closing to part 3.
No, that's lovely. And I actually love that. I think that's really lovely that you see it, that you obviously want to retain talent, but you also want to gift great talent to other businesses. I think that's a lovely sentiment, and very much tracking in the spirit of Ubuntu as well. I love that. And so if you had to advise people and say, coming into an employee experience space, you obviously come from a financial background, but What skills do you think future employee experience leaders should learn and master?
Okay, so sure, there's quite a number that I've picked up. Other than having a financial background, it's really important because even when you're in wellness, you need to realize that it's a win-win situation for the employee and the employer. There has to be a return on investment at some point. It can't always be the employer investing in all these wellness programs, because there's a lot of investment. I mean, the other work that I do is I engage with our other stakeholders, financial institutions, health providers, and we constantly in the face of our employees on financial awareness and education and health and mental awareness, etc. But there has to also be a return on investment in these things. So our employees also need to understand that our company is also injecting something for them, so they really need to be well at the end of the day. Anyway, so financial. And then there's a buzzword, metaverse. Yes. We really need to hone in there. Like I said, we've got countries like your Rwandas, Burundis, and your Kenyans, and they're doing it extremely well. And I think also up north, countries like Nigeria, etc. So South Africa is lagging. We really need to get into that. The new world is digital. People are, in a 3D virtual space. They're socializing, they're playing, they're working. We need to tap into that. And then innovation. We need to be innovative. There's a lot of online courses that we could go out there, register, learn, and see what we can give back. I mean, I heard that there's one of our suppliers, a financial institution, actually has a table that converts, a chair that converts into a table. So innovation is not just about IT. It's about being able to create something with something that you already have. All right. And then I think the ability to serve communities.
Okay.
We need to really tap into that ability, to serve communities. Without our communities, we lost. And then empathetic leadership. Simon Sinek touched on that in one of his books. We need to have leaders who are empathetic. They need to, if I'm saying, you know what, my kids are sick and the situation has changed at home, is it okay that we see if I can work remotely?
Yeah.
You can put in measures in place. You can see that I'm logged in. Is it okay? So we need to have that kind of leadership to understand its employees. And then the ability to develop people. I've been fortunate that my group FD believes in me so much. He's my sponsor, and I think I've also done well. He's able to, it makes it easy for him when I say, please develop me further. So we need to have that ease of development, of developing our people. And then organizational development. I know it's been there, but are we prepared for disruption? So our organizations need to be able to acknowledge that it's just not COVID-19. There's more to come, I believe. So our organizations, honing into being able to develop, their organization, and at what pace. They could be developing, but it could be at a snail's pace. They need to keep up. Also from a competitive advantage point of view. And then the last one, which I think is extremely important. This one I also touched on. I had an assignment that I had to do on the executive development program, and that was on strategic management. And I think in order for change management to be a success, we need to adopt ADCAR, which is awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. And will definitely make change a success whether it's from a departmental point of view within group human capital, or within my own space as wellness, or, as an entire organization. How are we doing it? Are we relying on ourselves? Are we going to outsource that function? Because it's not an easy one, hey?
Yeah.
Changing people's perception about culture, about new processes. I mean, yeah, we really need to get that right. And that's it.
No, 100%. And we also use the ADCAR model. So, and I've written so many notes you've made. I've gone through 2 color pens so far on you. So no, that's really great. Thank you. So I'm going to end off part 3 there, and we're going to progress on to our final part, which is part 4, and we'll be back in a minute or two.